And that there is no pandemic.
I'm not pretending.
Well,
I'm not pretending.
They wouldn't have the surgery or give us the surgery if they thought it was unsafe.
Do we send Ysabel by herself?
Did he really just say that? He suggested her to go by her. So before I go irate and lose my mind, his ridiculous, stupid suggestion, I'm just going to assume it's the Kody roller coaster.
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Tuesday, April 20th. Happy 420 for all my herbal friends. Oh, the days when I used to enjoy those moments of my life. My 20s were very foggy. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. If you're a 420 lover, have some fun today. Make sure to light something up. All right. Today, we're going to do a couple different things. We need to check back on Sister Wives because the show just obviously was the season finale. A lot of questions have come up about some of the issues that we talked about that happened in the season finale, and I wanted to circle back to some of the stuff that we talked about in the off season to help you clear up some holes that you might have on what actually happened after the season aired. One of the biggest disagreements that happened in this episode was revolving around Ysabel Brown. Ysabel Brown, who is the, I think, fifth child of Kody and Christine Brown, has had a storyline regarding her back. She was diagnosed with scoliosis in 2013, and Kody had gone through a lot to try to delay the surgery that she needed. And he wanted her to do these different exercises to stop the curve, and they didn't work. And because of his reluctance to do this, it ultimately resulted in Ysabel having to go through a lot of pain. And obviously, when you have 18 kids, it's not easy to have them all covered, and the Browns are known for not having the best healthcare insurance coverage for their kids. There's been some issues when it came to Dayton. If you remember, I don't know, I think it was back in 2016, he got into this really terrible ATV accident, and there was a lot that came out about it, and there was some concern that he wasn't properly insured. And then truly, she had a really bad infection when she was like 3 or 4 years old, and they also didn't have coverage. So mind you, this is a family that has homes that are $500,000, $600,000. He just bought a house with Robin for around, I think, $890,000. But when it comes to actually insuring your children, that's just not, it's not necessary, or it's not high on the priority list. And I'm not sure why. Ysabel has had to go through considerable pain. And if anyone has gone through scoliosis, you will know that if it has to be surgically repaired, it's gotten very bad. And when you don't repair it, it can cause a lot of damage, not only to your spine, but to your whole body. It can cause paralysis. You can have permanent nerve damage. You can deal with neuropathic pain. There's a lot that can happen because of all the nerves that come out of that spine, and it can cause issues with your joints, with your knees. There's so much that can happen when you delay this. And so this is why you typically don't want to delay it, and you want to get it fixed as quickly as you can. Now, when you go through one procedure, the sad part about these types of procedures is sometimes you have to have more than one spine. Anytime you start operating on a spine, it can become a lifetime. So it's not perfect, it's not the best option, but it's a necessary one if people want to maintain a healthy way of life and be able to still walk and have, full function of their legs, and, just not be in excruciating pain all the time. This episode, they basically talked about this procedure, and Christine was basically like, we finally got insurance, meaning they finally found a policy to get her the operation. She said it took them 5 months, And they had to go through the process, I'm assuming, to get it all set up and then approval for the surgery. Now, I'm not sure why they decided to go out of state for this specific procedure. I'm surely assuming that they could have found someone closer. However, maybe they felt like the specialist that was in New York was a better fit for them, and that could have been part of the delay in getting everything approved for the surgery. It also could have been that her specific case was so specialized that they needed someone that had more specialized care and treatment that could help her with this procedure. But there are surgeons that could do this procedure theoretically in Arizona if they wanted to go that route. They used a doc in New York to get this procedure, and they were going to travel there. Kody was not happy, and he wanted her to put off the surgery because he felt like it was an inconvenience to the family. He said you had to think about the whole family. And really, he couldn't find a valid reason outside of the fact that he wasn't going to be able to be there. And then he even proposed to Ysabel that she go by herself, to which Christine said no.
And he's gonna realize how stupid that is before I really have to respond that much.
Long story short, Christine's like, we're not putting this off. And Kody's just like, whatever. And he had no empathy for her. It was almost like he was so mad at Christine just because of how she was handling COVID, or his perception of COVID, that he took it out on Ysabel, which left Ysabel feeling really sad. So what happened after the show? Well, over the summer, Christine was very vocal on her Instagram about Ysabel. She was raising money. She did LuLaRoe sales. I did several different videos about this, and I will put them in my cards so you can check them out and get more details and see the photos. And there was like an Instagram or a Facebook Live where she talked about raising money, and she was doing different sales through her LuLaRoe. She was selling Unique. They did a Sister Wives jewelry thing. She just was doing pretty much anything, and it seemed like Kody just was not helping financially at all for the procedure. Like, it was all seemingly falling on her. And during that same time, we saw nothing in regards to Kody in relation to the procedure and whether or not he was going to help financially for this. So by the time September rolls around, she was ready, and they went to New Jersey, and they actually stayed with her sister. And Christine also was she shared all of that on her Instagram via stories and posts on her Instagram. They went to New Jersey. They quarantined there for a couple weeks before she had her surgery. Her sister Wendy actually posted photos of the girls and all of them at the beach together. Gwendolyn and Truly traveled with them. Christine shared photos of all of them traveling. They were all in, I think they actually got to fly first class at one point, but they had full gear on. Christine was wearing a mask. They had gloves on. They were as safe as they could possibly be. So long story short, Ysabel had the procedure. Everything went really well, and she updated throughout the year about how she was doing post-op, and she's doing really well, you guys. Like, everything seemingly went off without a hitch. She doesn't appear to have had any complications, or at least any that she's talked about. She recently posted on her Instagram that, she was dancing again, and she looks like she's feeling better, which is really what matters, right? If you're in pain all the time and you're at an 8 and a 9, imagine being in an 8 and a 9 all the time when you're 17 or 16 years old, like Ysabel, and then having your dad tell you that you can't have the surgery. A surgery that, if it doesn't get done, could potentially lead to paralysis in your legs, nerve damage, having neuropathy and pain because of it, or just having issues with your breathing and your lungs and your heart. Because when the spine curves, it can also impact your lungs. It can also impact the space for your heart, which would also make it even harder for her to recover from COVID if she didn't have that fixed. So it's not just like the paralysis and everything that can happen with it, but it's also just like the organs. When the spine's not in the right place, everything else gets affected. So, she gets everything fixed and everything's good. And Ysabel and her mom are very close. And I started looking through Ysabel's Instagram, and I noticed just the other day that, and I think this is a little bit of shade towards her dad, but it's also I think a proclamation to her mom and all the work that her mom does for her. And this is what she said, because it was Christine's birthday. She said, "Happy birthday, Mommy. You are undoubtedly my favorite person in the whole world, and I wouldn't be the person I am today without your loving nature and beautiful soul. You're 49 and still don't have a single gray hair. Thanks for the great genetics coming my way." She called her mom her most favorite person. Oh, the shade. Now, over Christmas, they also shared photos with everyone together. All of Christine's kids came into town, and she snapped a photo with all of her kids. And Kody hasn't been in any of this stuff. So this was another thing that we covered. So not only is Ysabel, he not involved in her surgery, she went to Utah for a baby shower for McKelty. The kids came home for Thanksgiving, I think for Christmas, and Kody was not in any of those photos. Christine actually hasn't posted a photo of her and Kody alone since March of 2020. And the last photo she shared of her and Kody with Truly was on April 13th, 2020. Nothing else since. No other posts of Kody, no other photos of Kody. It's mostly just her and her girls. And there was actually a photo a couple weeks, maybe about a month or two ago, where she actually talked about looking at houses with her girls, driving around, and then Truly saying that she was going to build a house and let her mommy live with her because she was her favorite person. So clearly Christine has become the rock for these kids. And when they need things and things need to get done, it's Christine that's doing everything. And this is unfortunately what it's like in the world of polygamy. The fathers are absent. They are not around. They miss out. A lot of them seemingly are not providing financially. Could she actually get child support from him if she wanted to? Yes. But he keeps that olive branch of we're in a relationship as a way to avoid paying child support. They often are not helping with insurance because they have no legal ties to the child. And in Christine's case, she's never been a legal wife. I don't know whether or not they have anything set up where Kody is required to pay for anything in regards to these kids. So in a lot of ways, everything falls onto Christine. And that's really unfair if you think about it, because he adopted Robin's kids to provide insurance for them and adopt them, right? But he doesn't do that for the rest of his kids. It's really weird. And this is not uncommon. It falls on moms. Moms are single moms. They aren't lying when they say that. So the relationships are not as idealistic as you'd like to see. And, who knows what's actually going on. She still lives in Arizona. She has not moved. People think that they're just milking this for views, but I don't think there is anything deceptive here. I think there is a marital breakdown. I don't think there is happiness here. I don't think that he and Christine are working on reconciling. I think they live very separate lives, and I think that, maybe she'll move, but right now Ysabel's still in high school, and I think she's a senior, either a senior or a junior, so they're not going to leave abruptly like this, but she owns the house outright. If she wanted to leave and put the house on the market, she could. It all just comes down to her desire to go to Utah and if she wants to and if she's ready. So some of you think she'll never leave. Some of you are on the fence. And I'm just telling you, yes, Ysabel got her surgery. Yes, Kody was not there. And yes, Ysabel shaded her father by thanking her mom for being her favorite person. And I just want to say, I will always support these women, and I will always hope that one day they all realize they don't have to live like this. And they have been fed a lie through their faith that this is the only way to heaven, and it's really sad. So what do you think about all of this? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.